And I said, abalone. I thought it was power.
Oh, boys, I love this place. The ale here is perfectly unfiltered.
Yeah, I love all the little bits in it.
Love a chunk. Chunky.
Absolutely, I agree. And if I could just add one thing as group leader, I also love how it's not
Wait. Sorry. As what?
group leader. You know, it's like the leader of the group.
Yeah, I know what it means. When did you become group leader?
Yeah, I don't even know we were even looking for a group leader.
What on earth are you talking about? Every group needs a leader, you know. It's like beer, the leader of drinks. Hats, the leader of the head. Toes, leader of the foot.
Okay, let's say we did need a leader. Why would it be you?
I guess, to me, it just instinctually feels right. Don't you think?
But if we had to push you, you know, for why you thought that you have this entitlement.
Because I feel like both of us would know why, but...
You know what? Here's what we'll do. You do some little jibber jabber and you tell us why you think you should be leader, and we'll write down why we think you should be leader.
Okay, well, look, I guess for me, when I've just considered this group of three, I've always seen me as kind of the main dude, you know? I'm the one who should do the talking, the one who should make most of the decisions. I think the hierarchy is sort of like God, the Queen, me, you guys.
Oh, yeah, that's what I've got.
Yeah, and this is what I've got. Let's
have
just
you got?
compare
Oh, yeah.
racism, white supremacy.
That's the same. That's
Same
the same.
shit, man,
That's the
same shit.
That's the exact
Well,
same
my
shit.
golly gosh. I didn't realize I was sharing ales with the PC Brigade.
Okay, well, do you have any non-racist reasons why you should be leader of the group?
Oh, well, you've just gone and made it a lot harder. Sure, non-racist reasons why I should be the leader. I guess because I've got natural leadership qualities and things go better when I'm in charge.
Not at all. You didn't even help us when we built the fire yesterday. You just stood there all like, ugh, that's a poor person's job, and then threw some coins at us.
That's a bang-on impression of you.
Yeah, I'd like those coins back, please. But think about it from a wider perspective. Whose idea was it to light the fire?
Hey, it was my idea. I said it. Let's light a fire.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, it was a good idea.
Yeah, it was a real good idea.
I thought it was so good. We were cold.
Okay, look, to clarify, right? Your idea of why you should be leader is a made-up one and a made-up racist one.
And just to clarify his clarification, you don't have any other reasons.
Well, there is one other tiny little reason why I should be in charge.
Who brings a gun to a pub?
Don't point to get.
Stop it away!
Why do you keep pointing at us? Where'd you even get that from?
The Queen! She's just handing them out. She's a nice lady.
Why do you have it?
Well, I guess I kind of had an inkling that maybe my first few reasons wouldn't be enough. And the thing is, I really want to be the leader, you guys. So how about we take a little vote, eh? I've just got to prepare this. This goes in here. Yeah. Where are you going? Well, now I'm the only one here. So I guess I am the group leader.
In the 1800s, a bunch of British settlers decided, after little to no consultation, that there should be a government, and they should be the ones to run it. Here's how that happened.
A citizen's handbook.
Britain is ages away, so why is the Queen on our money? It all started back in 1840, after the signing of Te Tiriti o Waitangi, when Britain decided that we should be an official British colony, even though there weren't many British people here. Then they gave New Zealand a governor, William Hobson, whose two jobs were: 1, making sure that the Brits who were here were being well behaved and following British laws, and 2, convincing Maori that they should start following British laws. Hey! Because Britain thought that would be very nice. Then, in 1852, British Parliament passed the New Zealand Constitution Act, which said that settlers could make up their own laws. There was even a bit that said Maori could make up their own laws too, but the settlers all agreed that bit was just impossible to read. So the settlers set up a settler state and soon began to legislate. What I meant to say was that the settlers started passing lots of new laws to give themselves more power and the Maori people less. After a few years of this, Maori put their foot down, and in the second half of the 1800s, a few different Kingitanga movements brought iwi together to try to restore the balance of power Maori and Pakeha had agreed to in Te Tiriti. For example, Waikato iwi noticed that the Brits seemed to bloody love their kings and queens, so they said, "Fine, will you pay attention to us if we do things the British way?" and picked a Maori king of their own to hold their mana and stand up to the British. The Kingitanga movement focused on stopping the flow of land and power from Maori to Pakeha, and they were pretty successful, which made them a big enemy of this guy. That's right, it's George Grey. He's back and he's ready to start an illegal war against the Kingitanga. So he did. And after that, he kept fighting pretty much anyone who stood in the way of the colonising. After the settler government got tired of these expensive wars, they focused on more boring, bureaucratic ways of squashing Maori political power and taking Maori land, which is a horrible sentence that's unfortunately true. One of the laws they passed came to be known as the Validation of Invalid Land Sales Act, and it said that every time the British had taken land in dodgy ways, well, now that was fine, and we weren't going to talk about it anymore. They also passed the Maori Councils Act to take the wind out of the sails of Maori Parliament. That's right, yes, there was a Maori Parliament, because again, Maori were like, please just listen to us. We don't like the colonising. Would it help if we formed one of your Parliament things? Because we'll do it. But it didn't help. The settler government refused to acknowledge the Maori Parliament, and instead they insisted that the Maori seats in the settler Parliament were the way to go. The main problem with the Maori seats in the settler Parliament was that there was only 4 of them, which would have been more understandable if there were only 8 seats altogether, but unfortunately it was more like 80. And some Maori said, okay, fine, we'll participate in your settler government because we don't seem to have a lot of options right now. But then, when one Maori MP, Hone Heke Ngāpua, put forward a bill called the Native Rights Act, the Pakeha MPs didn't even let it get to a vote. They literally just stood up and walked out. I know! The way settlers were running things, Te Tiriti or Waitangi already seemed like a distant relic. New Zealand was becoming an outpost of Mother England ruled over by the Queen.
Get in.
And it felt like there wasn't a lot tangata whenua could do. It's at this point the settler government started turning their attention to the people who weren't in New Zealand yet. And if you pay very close attention, there's a chance you might be able to spot a pattern in who they wanted to come to New Zealand and who they didn't. Settlers from Britain were encouraged to move here. Settlers from other parts of Northern Europe were tolerated. And for almost everyone else, it was either very hard or impossible. For example, Chinese settlers who had been here since the 1860s all of a sudden got singled out to pay a poll tax that no one else had to pay. Also, only Chinese men were allowed in, so you had to leave your whole family behind if you wanted to come here. In fact, Chinese people couldn't become New Zealand citizens until the 1950s. The 1950s. The 1950s, which meant that even if you were born here and had paid taxes your entire life, you weren't allowed to vote in New Zealand if you were Chinese, let alone get pensions or welfare. And in case you're having trouble spotting the incredibly subtle pattern of who they wanted to come to New Zealand and who they didn't, here's a memo from the Department of External Affairs in 1953.
Our immigration is based firmly on the principle that we are and intend to remain a country of European development. It is inevitably discriminatory against Asians. Indeed, against all persons who are not wholly of European race and colour. Whereas we have done much to encourage immigration from Europe, we do everything to discourage it from Asia.
They wrote that down. A government official wrote that and was like, yep, don't see a problem there, let's send that off. In the scheme of things, British settlers had arrived pretty recently, and now they were like, oh, sorry, no one else please, you look a little bit different. Even when the settler government opened the door to our Pacific Island neighbours to help in the booming post-war economy, they completely turned against them as soon as the economy started to slow. In the 1970s, police started the dawn raids, bursting into the homes of Pacific Islanders first thing in the morning if they were even suspected of overstaying their visas. And at the time, the majority of overstayers didn't even come from the Pacific Islands. They came from Europe and America. It almost seems like there's another pattern there, too. In the 1980s, the settler government brought in a point system, which stopped discriminating against immigrants based on race and started discriminating against them based on how rich and good at English they were. And as for the settler government, well, after a while, we just started calling it the government. And next up, I'm going to tell you how that government works.
The citizens.
I'll see you then. Goodbye.
The citizens.